In a world where aim comes first, today we'll talk about how to improve in CSGO. So, I had a long chat with my boys on Twitch about these improvement videos and that most of them are off topic and made by guys who struggle themselves. As I have a great competitive background and been helping people develop in the game, I might just make a video on the topic. Of course, these videos tend to do really good and make a lot of attraction and views, but it has been highly requested multiple times on my channel, and a recent comment from Zeroza finally got me to make this video. So here you go, guys. The things we will go over in this video will be warm-up, or how to improve your aim, reaction time and how to improve it, staying focused and all the other things, and a little bit on angle holding. So let's start off with the warm-up routine. The biggest mistake most of you guys make is playing only aimbots. You might be good at warm-ups and shooting steady targets, but if you would invest that time into regular DM or a headshot DM, you would see not only your aim improve, but your angle holding, map awareness, and position holding get better. When warming up, you want to make it as realistic to the actual game as possible. So when I warm up, I usually have a routine of a 20-minute session where I would try to get 200 plus kills in a headshot DM and then leave to play games. That's not it. As soon as I have a chance to jump back in or I have some time off, I would jump back into deathmatch and play more. Only when I feel like I'm doing really good and I am feeling the mouse and everything else would be spot on, I would leave and not play DM. To not overheat myself because I have more games ahead of me and I don't want to get exhausted from playing. Quick notice here as well is that instead of spraying all the time, try to tap the enemies, especially in these mid-range and long-range battles. Try to improve your first bullet accuracy. It will help you out when you'll have to deal with multiple enemies. And when you play DM, try to position yourself in places where you would play in game. Try to take as many aim duels as possible to improve faster, and you'll see improvements in game much faster than you can expect. I am constantly playing this workshop map as well. I'll leave the link in the description below, as it has moving targets and you have to turn around all the time. It is a great map to understand the space of your mousepad and make it feel comfortable. If I am not into DM, I would usually get around 1000 kills here and bounce to play a game. I used to drain my op here as well. When I wasn't able to get one in DM, I just no-clip out of the middle block, kick the bots out with bot kick, added 3 bots on T side, and I would play angles to make it feel like I'm peeking an actual target and getting my flicks on point. That's the same thing you can do in aimbots, and that's the only reason why I have the map on my workshop list. Great if you need to train your flicks, but for rest, just go and DM. Feel out player movement and everything else. I wanted to touch on motivation, confidence, and everything else that is very important if you want to become a good player. But I think Hikes has an awesome video on this topic, and it deserves way more attention than it has gotten. So if you want to improve your mentality towards the game, definitely check out Hikes' video. It will be linked down in the description below, as everything else. When it comes to reaction, we all know that 200 until 250 is the average person's reaction time. And everything under 150, let's be real here, is basically luck. Most of the guys I've talked to get around 190 and still do good in game. So it's not that much about your reaction time, it's more about staying focused at all times while playing and playing smart. There's few things you can do while holding an angle to not get zoomed out. The only one that I'm okay with is simple short flicking a little bit to the left or right. So instead of switching weapons or scoping in or out, just simply flick a little bit to the right or left and then back. There's a lot of other things you should think about as well, like perhaps background noise. Try to isolate the sound as much as possible to be more focused on what's in front. If you have toxic teammates, just mute them, as you might get tilted and upset by their comments and start to perform worse just because of that. Another thing I would love to see in the CSGO community is that before perhaps a FACEIT game starts, instead of screaming on top of your lungs that you want to play window or anything else, after the knife round or round switch, ask your teammates, hey guys, what positions you want to play, what do you want to do, maybe someone has a plan. You will instantly see people acting more serious and taking a better approach to the game. Take a timeout if you need to talk about it. Take as much time as you need if it helps you get the win. Might tilt your enemies in the process as well. If someone is trolling, just ignore them. Talk to players that want to win and listen. At some point, there will be a lot of players taking this approach, and you'll see that this can actually work out. When it comes to training reaction, I have never done anything except from a single flash game and just gaming, and still achieve good numbers. But there's plenty of workshop maps you can browse that are designed for that. In my case, I used to play a lot, and by a lot, I mean a lot of Mission Red. Some of you might know about it if you follow Navi players. They used to play it a lot. It was on their website. It probably doesn't help your reaction that much, but it's the smoothest aim booster from all of the options we have. They don't have a dedicated website for it anymore, but I found this, theaim.pro. It looks sketchy and has a lot of ads, but it's better than nothing. You can try it out yourself and maybe post your results down below if you see any improvements out of it. I used to play it for like 10 minutes before DMing to make my hands and brain start functioning properly. So let me know if you find some use to it. By the way, if you can't start just like I did, navigate to Mouse 101 first, click on the flash icon and enable flash. After that, go back to Mission Red and just play. Zerosa asked me, should I always keep my crosshair nearest to the wall cover just like pros do, or should I keep it slightly away from cover? So first and foremost, your average face-it pug or matchmaking game is not a pro game. You can see slightly slower approach and jiggle peeking slow executions in these pro games. Of course, sometimes they do some flashy plays and stuff like that, but in pug games you mostly see that. So it depends on what angle you are holding as well. So let's take for an instance these double doors. If you stand in a position like this, you would always want to put your crosshair nearest to the wall, to the doors I would say. Because if your enemies come out, you will see his head first. So he will probably shift walk out and you will just get an easy kill. If perhaps you stay in an angle like this, you already want to adjust your crosshair a little bit to the right, because if the player peeks, he's gonna peek like this. He's gonna be fast peeking towards you. So if it's a situation like this, you hold a crosshair like this. If it's a situation like this, you hold crosshair nearest. Same with the B when playing car. You always want to hold a little bit to the right. If you're playing this corner, you would want to hold as near to the wall as possible because of these contact plays and everything else. If the players are already here, you know they'll start pushing. And that means the double wide peek. Same when if perhaps holding tunnels, you just with perhaps like an op, you hold it probably like this. Because if you hold nearer, maybe they will jiggle peek. If they jiggle peek, you can always like adjust your crosshair if you see the first peek, or just simply hold like you did. When it perhaps becomes a lower tunnels and you probably hear them pushing, or you're pushing lower tunnels, you're up on stairs already and you hear your enemies coming from upper tunnels, you know that they won't slow down. So what you do, instead of aiming close, you already adjust your crosshair a little bit to the right because you know they will wide peek. It all depends on the situation and what you hear and know. If the enemies are acting slow and not doing anything, you can of course put your crosshair closer because it probably will be a contact play. If you hear a smoke CT, you know that they will probably wide swing you or molly you off over here. So be careful with that. Perhaps like in a place where you play here, dust long doors, you always see the shadow over here. So when an enemy pushes, you already can like make yourself your muscle memory, or you already can predict when he will peek you. So if you see the shadow over here, you can already understand when he's about to peek and you should get an easy kill. So it's really simple when it comes to angle holding. It all depends on the situation and what you can expect from enemies. If your enemies are playing slow and always jiggle peeking, you adjust yourself to aim a little bit closer to these angles. If your enemies are monkeys and all the time only rushing you and pushing 24/7, you just simply aim a little bit away from the cover. So simple as that. I really hope this helped you, Zerosa, and will make your games a little bit easier. And that is it for me today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more questions, let me know down below. And of course, if you like the video, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you very soon.